if you have. Awesome. I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for coming out. This has been truly amazing. I am here today presenting for Honolulu. They were not able to make it, but I just want to read off their bio really quick and then get into their presentation. Hana is a queer mixed race animal activist and community organizer based in Denver, Colorado. They consider nonviolence toward all beings to be a critical expression of their work as a nurse and had dedicated their life to healing and protecting sick and injured people of all species. They believe that in the animal liberation movement, sanctuaries are critical for providing the safe, permanent refuge that animals deserve and for telling the incredible stories of resilience and liberation that survivors of the animal exploitation industries carry their whole lives. Hana lives in a vegan collective house with other activists, dogs, and chickens. Okay. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to mention today in this presentation has lots of connections with what other presenters have mentioned. Max Lieberman, there's definitely some connections here in regards to showing solidarity with animal people. I'm deciding to use the language animal people specifically to further eliminate that, human-animal divide. Let's see. So I'm just going to start reading off their presentation. There are millions of people fighting for animal rights, animal welfare, animal liberation all over the world. And yet in these conversations about violence against animals, someone is often missing or marginalized. Animals are being described as voiceless or victims of human violence. Many activists have never even met a chicken in a sanctuary context, let alone been personally responsible for caring for one as a member of their family. Okay. Mother Jones said, "Pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living." There is a lot of praying for the dead that is happening. We recite facts and figures about animals, conjure unimaginable violence to implore our friends, family, and community to stop harming animals. We grieve in this grocery store, or more often are numb to the lumps of flesh who once were our comrades. We activists often treat animals as if they were already dead, or as if they can only live lives that are worse than death. This does not have to be. We need to fight like hell for the living because they are already fighting like hell for their own lives. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you all a content warning. So let me tell you about a story of a survivor from both the bird's eye and the human eye view. I am a young hen named Robin. I am only 6 weeks old. My brothers and sisters are routinely killed at this age as they make their peeping baby sounds. I am one of 60,000 chickens who were brought onto the streets of Brooklyn for a religious ritual slaughter. I was left on the street in a dirty, sharp crate with 14 of my brothers and sisters. We did not have food or water for a week. I was taken out of the crate, ritually swung in the air by my wings, placed face down in an upside-down traffic cone, and my throat was cut. Luckily, my trachea was spared, but the blood drained from my body. I was thrown into the dumpster. Shortly after, an activist found me. She put me in her car, drove me to the vet, the only vet who was available who knew about my kind of body. They could do an emergency surgery, but the surgery and the 3-day hospital stay afterward would cost $5,000, and they needed the money immediately. The human made some calls. She managed to get an emergency loan to cover the treatment. Another activist offered to pay for the surgery in full. Someone thought that giving me a shot at life was worthwhile. Even if I didn't make it, I deserved a fighting chance. I had fought so much already, clung to life, and I did make it and went to recover and live with an activist who took me to get medical care. Okay. This is not the usual story. Robin is 1 in a trillion, and this is not the end of her story either. She is a Cornish cross, a so-called meat breed of chickens bred to have a voracious appetite and to put on weight as quickly as possible before their slaughter age of 42 days. She will need to be protected from extreme heat and cold, and she must be put on a restricted diet to keep her body healthy. How many times have we been told that caring for animals or donating to sanctuaries is not effective or efficient? Imagine if someone came to you and said, your partner's chemotherapy is not cost efficient. It's an effective treatment, but it's going to cost $1 million, and that could be better used elsewhere, so we shouldn't do it. Sorry. I bet you would be furious and think that this was some capitalist nonsense. Imagine these animals were children. If there is lead in the groundwater making children sick, as in the case with so many Rust Belt cities, we should for sure get that damn lead out of the water, but we can't forget about the children who have been poisoned by the lead and who will be sick and disabled because of it. We can work to change the conditions and care for the people who are here now. We can fight to end domestication. At the same time, we are taking collective responsibility for the people we've brought to this earth. We can give them lives of beauty they couldn't even imagine. Lives of love, companionship, safety, dirt to play in, and good snacks in a cozy home and medical care when they are sick. A sanctuary is something that everyone can participate in, one way or another. This is about doing what we can in our lives right now. Mutual aid with animals as our comrades. It's thinking hard about what we can do to help our neighbor. If 1,000 human refugees needed safe, immediate housing, we wouldn't say, sorry, I don't have an empty apartment waiting for you. I can't help. Of course you don't have an empty apartment. Of course you don't have 40 acres in the country and $1 million to rescue 20 cows, but what have you got? A spare bedroom or a couch for a refugee, a corner of the room where a chicken can sleep in a kennel, some counter space to house goldfishes rescued from being consumed alive as feeder fishes. Can you drive someone to where they need to go? Can you be a friend? Our communities are more abundant than we realize. There is so much more we can do. If we think creatively about the resources, time, space, money, people power, and how we can leverage them to save and sustain life, it's the spirit of doing the best we can with what we've got. If we really centered animals in this movement, we would be more effective in our advocacy. We'd speak from personal experience, talk to the people we know and what they need and how they are, rather than reciting textbook facts and figures. We'd be able to let the animals speak for themselves, act for themselves. I have seen cold hearts thaw just by watching a chicken be a chicken for an hour, and I didn't say a word until I was asked. Animals deserve so much more than what we give them. Okay. So, here is Hannah's and my invitation. If you have any interest in joining or learning about the animal care revolution, we want to connect with you. All right? So here is a list of information to contact Hannah, the Micro Sanctuary Movement, and lots of amazing Facebook groups. So if you are caring for any of these individuals, if you have dogs in your household, cats, there's also Facebook groups for them as well. There's so many opportunities to connect with folks who have micro sanctuaries. So I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet. If you're interested in getting involved to any capacity, write down your name and email, and we'd love to work with you. Thank you.